One bright morning, as the city buzzed with its usual activity, a street cleaner diligently swept the walkway. She moved with care, ensuring the path remained clean for pedestrians. Her uniform was slightly worn, and sweat trickled down her brow, but she remained focused on her work. As she continued her task, a sleek black sedan pulled up beside her. The driver, a well-dressed man in his mid-40s, stepped out, stretched, and then walked to the trunk of his car. He opened it, and to the street cleaner's horror, began pulling out bags of garbage. Without a second thought, he started dumping them onto the freshly cleaned pavement. Plastic wrappers, crumpled papers, and empty bottles scattered everywhere, undoing all her hard work. The street cleaner gasped and quickly approached him. "Sir, please," she pleaded, holding her broom tightly. "There's a trash can right there. Could you throw your garbage in it instead?" The man chuckled, a smug expression on his face. "Why should I? You're paid to clean the streets, aren't you?" He scoffed. "If I throw this in the bin, you won't have anything to do. I'm just making sure you earn your salary." The woman's heart sank. She had encountered rude people before, but this level of disrespect was appalling. Still, she remained calm, hoping to reason with him. "Sir, keeping the city clean is a shared responsibility. If everyone does their part, it makes my job easier and keeps our environment pleasant for everyone." The man merely smirked. "Not my problem," he said dismissively, tossing another crumpled food wrapper onto the ground. Just then, another car pulled up nearby. A middle-aged man in a navy blue jacket, who had witnessed the entire incident, stepped out. He walked toward them with a firm yet composed demeanor. "You shouldn't be littering," the newcomer said, his voice steady but authoritative. "There's a trash can right there. Use it." The littering man rolled his eyes and crossed his arms. "Why should I? That's her job. She's getting paid for it, so she should be grateful I'm giving her work to do." The stranger looked at the street cleaner, then at the mess on the ground. Without another word, he walked over to where she stood, gently took the broom from her hands, and began sweeping up the garbage himself. The rude man watched in shock. "What are you doing? That's her job," he shouted. The stranger continued sweeping, unfazed by the outburst. He efficiently gathered the trash and carefully packed it into a bin. The street cleaner stood there, unsure of what to say, but gratitude filled her eyes. When the stranger finished, he took a deep breath, walked up to the littering man's car, and without hesitation, lifted the trash bin. Then, in one swift motion, he emptied the entire contents into the back seat of the expensive vehicle. The rude man gasped. "What the hell are you doing?" he bellowed, stepping forward angrily. The stranger calmly pulled something from his pocket and held it up for the man to see. It was a police badge. "I'm an officer of the law," he said firmly. "Littering is a violation, and if I catch you doing it again, I'll have no choice but to arrest you and fine you for public nuisance." The man's face turned pale. He opened his mouth to argue, but no words came out. He glanced at his now garbage-filled car in horror. The officer didn't wait for a response. He turned to the street cleaner, handed her the broom back with a small smile, and gave her a respectful nod. "Thank you for keeping our streets clean," he said. The street cleaner, overwhelmed with gratitude, nodded back. "Thank you, sir." Without another word, the officer returned to his car and drove away, leaving the littering man standing there, his arrogance replaced with stunned embarrassment. People who had been watching the incident murmured in approval, some even clapping. One elderly woman who had been observing the scene leaned toward the street cleaner and whispered, "Well, that was justice served perfectly." The rude man, now humiliated, grudgingly began to pick up the trash from his car, realizing he had not only been put in his place, but had also learned a valuable lesson about respecting those who work hard to keep the city clean.